do a quick ring yoga session. We'll try for about 10 minutes here. See how that goes. So the first step for this session is you're going to want to set your rings to a comfortable height. For me, this is going to be where the bottom of the ring is about at your belly button. Okay, this is going to allow you to do some inversions and then also to do some floats. We're going to start out just by extending our arms, and we're going to get a little bit of a mini plank situation with some pectoral stretching and engagement. And you might feel some shaking in your arms or shoulders. That's good. That is your stabilizer muscles firing. And you just want to kind of roll around, loosen up your body a little bit, and work your way back into a hamstring stretch. And what this does, it allows you to engage your hamstrings into a full stretch while having a little bit of a light support from your upper body. You can lean forward a little. Really do what makes you feel comfortable. Where's your body need it? Right now I'm going for hamstrings. Something you can do if you want to target different parts of your hamstrings. So if you point your toes out, that's going to stretch the inside of your hamstrings. If you point your toes in, the outside of your hamstrings. We're going to go from this position, go back to upright, and we're going to do what I call a resurrection. So you're going to lean back and down into a hip flexor hamstring stretch. So you're supporting yourself while allowing a full extension of your hip flexors. If you want to rotate your body and really get those hip flexors, you want to feel that here. And then what we'll do is we'll go back up into a full resurrection. Like so. And back into our pectoral partial plank. And again, it's about the movement. There's no specific pose that I like to just hold. I like getting dynamic movement in my muscles, and I'm engaging them just enough where you can feel it, you can get the exercise, but you're not going to strain yourself. If you get injured doing ring yoga, you're doing it wrong. The whole point of this is that you can choose how much of your upper body, how much of your lower body you want to engage. Okay, and we're going to work back through that same cycle we just did. Go into our hamstring stretches. I'm going to point my toes back out again, work on those inside hammies, and then point them in. On the outside hammies. Your hamstrings, the outside part of your legs versus the inside part of your legs. Pointing toes out, inside of your hamstrings will stretch. Pointing toes in, your outside on this side. Okay, we're going to go back into a resurrection. Really work out those hip flexors. If you want, you can come onto your knees a little bit. That can give you a little bit more of a stretch into your hamstrings. Okay. And then we're gonna back up like that. So from here, we're gonna do some floats. And what I might wanna do is adjust the camera for this, but I'll show you first from this angle. You're just going to start on your tippy toes and push your way up so that your feet are elevated. And you should feel some shaking here. If it's too challenging to do, then you might want to get something to step on. You can also just work on your tippy toes, or one foot or the other. But this should be firing your stabilizer muscles. I'm gonna give you another view here from the front. Let's see what that looks like. So again, we're gonna be centered between our rings. I'm gonna slowly push up off of the ground. And where should you feel this? You should feel it in your arms, all the way up and down. You should feel it in your chest. If you want, you can do some things with your legs. And just hold that for a minute. If you feel like you need a rest, give yourself a rest. How long should you do this? However I feel like, dang it. You want to listen to your body. You don't want to push yourself to the point where you pull a muscle. The whole idea behind this is listen to yourself. This is a yoga practice, and you want to just be connecting with your body, connecting with yourself. Okay, so we're going to go back into a downward resurrection, like so. But this time, we're going to do an inversion. So I'm going to put this back to the side, and we'll show you what that looks like. I'll face the other way here. Okay, so we're going to be centered around our base. Splay your toes and do a reverse resurrection. And then what we'll start to do is lift up your legs so that you are fully inverted. And this is a hang. And again, you should be feeling this all up and down your arms. You want to be lengthening the tendons. So this is strength building, but it's also going to help stretch your tendons. I think a lot of injuries that people have from exercising happen because there's too much focus on the strength, not enough emphasis on stretching out those tendons. And if you want to work some extra muscles, you can tilt your head back like this, your feet slightly forward. That's gonna work your pecs a little bit and the front part of your core. And you can tilt slightly back similarly. Oh. All right. So, you should feel tight right here, right here. You should feel a little bit in your chest, in your arms. And this is a nice little flow to get into. And what I like to do in this space, just keep going through this kind of flow. We'll maybe do one more set of those floats and then an inverted hang. And I like to come back to this. You put your toe down just splay it. You know, the wide toe box. Too often we have shoes that make our toes, instead of being wide and giving us a good foundation, they kind of crunch them in with the shoes that we wear. And that gives you high arches. It can cause all sorts of other problems. So when I stretch, I like to at least get my feet back into a more natural position like that by splaying them. Okay, a chance to breathe a little bit. Let's go into our forward plank one more time. I'm going to turn around so that you can see what my arms are doing. So, really just feeling your body, trying to get your pectorals in different positions where they're engaged. And then before we go into a full inversion, let's do one thing here. I think we'll want to do a little bit of an easy squat. That's what we'll call it. So we're gonna get one arm. We're not going to engage in a full hang. We're just kind of squatting. And what you're wanting to do is just lengthen out your pec, shoulder. You can rotate your arm. The idea is stretch. Let's switch. Back to this position, and we'll go through one more resurrection and inversion cycle. So, or no, elevation. We're gonna float. I'll turn this way so I can see out the garage door and that beautiful sunshine. All right, here we go. Up into a float. Sometimes fun to do things with your legs. All you're trying to do with this is just engage some different muscles. You can swing back and forth. Might look silly. Just do what feels good. Some little spirals with your legs. Okay. All right. Back into reverse resurrection. Stretch those hip flexors. And we'll go inverted. So the next thing we want to do is we're going to get into some more lower body stretching, and we'll keep hanging on to the rings, but really we just want to use them to support our stretching. So what we'll do, I'll show you how I'm positioned. Just kind of give yourself an equal step front, equal step back. And we'll go into a lunge from here. What I'm aiming for is to get my knees, my front knee, right over my toe. I'm working on this hip flexor here, but I'm also supported. So I can engage my rings to support that hip flexor stretch. If you want to get really fancy, do some arm rotations. If you get tired, you can rest your knee on the ground. This will actually stretch your hip flexor a little bit better. And you can lean back and really engage that. These hip flexors, if you work at an office job like I do, I work from home, I work on the computer, sitting in a chair all day, driving all day. If you stretch these hip flexors, that's going to ease a lot of pressure off of your lower back. And that'll give you a lot fewer back problems. Okay. So from this position, we're gonna do, I call these fusions because of Dragon Ball Z. But you're just gonna lay over both directions, back and forth, while keeping your feet in that same position. I'm gonna move the camera so that we can see that a little better. Okay, I'm gonna get back into my lunge and get my arms just right over my head, and I'm gonna lean this way. Adjust the camera so we can see a little better the direction. Maybe just move it back so I can see the whole. Okay. Reverse that. We're going to do the right foot forward. Ease into our lunge. Knee over your front toe. And we'll give it some turns and some rotations. Maybe rest your knee on the ground. Stretch those hip flexors. Look up. Lean back. Then we're going to return to this position where your knee's a little bit off the ground. We're going to do this fusion technique. We're just going to go side to side. Loosening up that back. Getting some dynamic engagement on your arms and your core. And you're also dynamically stretching your hip flexor. Okay. Good job, everyone. So now, to finish up, we're going to get back into a wide stance. Splay your toes. I like to drag my pinky toe like that. Take a nice wide spread foundation. Let's finish up with a final stretching. Go into our hamstrings, where we just were.